Hey everybody, welcome to Lost Connection Tarot. My name is Benjamin Snavely, and this is your daily meditative tarot reading for Thursday, October 15th, 2020. Today, I will be using my very first tarot deck that I bought many years ago. It's called the Thoth deck by Aleister Crowley. This is a 4-card reading. It is a general reading for everyone. If you like what you hear and you would like a more personal private reading, you can book a private reading with me. Simply go to my YouTube home page, and there you will see my square calendar. Just click on it and you can see what I offer, and then you can find the best reading and spread that works for you as well as the time. So I hope to see you guys outside of this daily meditative tarot. But let's go ahead and get started. So what is the theme of the day for Thursday, October 15th? What is the energy we have the most control over? What is the energy we have the least control over? And then if we put right thought and right action into that energy we have the most control over, what is the most likely outcome? And now this is for Thursday, October 15th, 2020, and this is for all signs of the zodiac for anyone listening. So, the theme of the day, okay, the energy of the most control, energy we have the least control, and then the energy most likely outcome if we put right thought and right action into the energy we have the most control over. That is a mouthful. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the theme of the day. Here we have the Prince of Swords, is what it says, which is also the King of Swords. There are no kings in the Thoth deck, but there are knights and queens and princesses. So the prince is the highest male figure, so he would be the king. Okay, so King of Swords, King of Ideas, King of Logic, King of Reason. So the day is all about making sense of things. The day is all about sitting in your passion and sitting in your intellect and logically connecting the dots. You are in control of your domain today. You are the King of Swords, and so you are the king of your thoughts. You are in control of your thoughts. You are in control of how you respond to other people. Other people will be in control of their own faculties, their own intellectual faculties. So everybody today is more focused on getting their ideas out there and being heard. But it's not an emotional day. It's not a day where we are spreading our passions, spreading our love around. We're not focused on our finances or things like that. Today is all about seeing things for how they are, being able to communicate with people openly and effectively, being honest and being forthright, and just being organized and being systematic, making a plan, making sure that everything is in tick-tock shape, everything's orderly, everything is running smoothly. It's the idea of getting your ideas to work. It's the idea of delegating tasks to other people who would efficiently and effectively do what it is that you need. So it's it's a day of taking care of everything, but just logically. Oh, yard needs mowed. It's not an emotional thing that's going to happen. You're just like, it's time to mow the lawn. It logically makes sense because wintertime is about to happen. It hasn't rained in a while. I have 2 hours of free time. I'm not going to pay someone to do it. I just got gas to do it. I have that ability and time to do it. I'm going to do it. And so then you go and mow the lawn because it just simply makes sense to do it. You pay your bills today, you buy tickets to this thing today, and it's all because it makes logical sense. And that's where you are today. So whatever idea you have today, it's probably a good idea. It's probably something that you have mulled over or thought about for a long time. And that's where we are today as the theme overall. Now, who are we? What is the energy we have the most control over? It is the Queen of Disc, but it's also in reverse. So this is the Queen of Pentacles. This is a woman who lives in her abundance, who think of as Gaia, as Mother Earth, as Mother Nature, is someone that gives and lives in opulence, and then has so much abundance that simply wants to give that back out there. This is a balanced individual who is physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally balanced, has all of those cogs running smoothly, and that's why they look so successful, because it's not just about money. That's simply just one aspect. They have their thumbs in nature, and they have maybe chickens as pets, and they love being someone that cooks home cooked meals, and the house is tidy and clean, but it's not like sterile. It's just homey and inviting and warm. And that's what the Queen of Disc is. But today that energy is reversed. So this is someone that is not being able to enjoy their abundance, or not taking practical modes or means to access their wealth, or they're doing too much in that physical world that one aspect of themselves seems imbalanced. So it seems like especially if it's the Queen of Disc, all queens represent water or emotions. So I would say that water and earth are kind of not symbiotic with each other today. So our emotions and the things that we have to do, maybe we don't want to mow the yard. Maybe we don't want to help with our kids' homework, or clean the dirty child who has blueberries all over their face. It's almost like these things that would give us joy, washing the car, fixing the gutters of the roof. All of these are small little details that, when they are humming, it brings abundance. Your car works, and your house doesn't have leaves all over the place, and you have the ability to have a clean house, and it smells warm and inviting, and there's a dessert or a pie coming out. But today our emotions are either out of whack, or our physical world is out of whack, and we're trying to just simply stay in tune with it, but we're not in tune. And so all of the things that give us abundance today may be overwhelming us, and maybe taking a little bit more than what we're used to or what we can give, and we're a little emotionally frazzled, and just simply not sitting comfortable in our daily life. Like today just seems like a day, like it may be a little bit much, but we intellectually understand it for whatever reason, but our home life, and maybe our career, and maybe our body and our health and our things are not aiding us today. They may break down, they may flare up, they may create a disturbance within ourselves that simply just takes away from the joy that we would usually get from this normal thing that gives us pleasure and abundance in our life, right, when it works properly. But today is the day that no matter how hard we try, and even though we have an awareness like, oh man, today might be a day where I feel a little frazzled, where my kids may be a little much, where I feel like I have all of this stuff to do, but other things in my life are not letting me accomplish the task that I need to accomplish. So I don't feel like I am the Queen of Disc. I feel like I am just being thrown into the wash and taken for a spin. Okay, and that's kind of the energy that we feel today. So we do have the most control over this. And so my suggestion is to balance your emotions, and that way you can tackle all of these practical matters that usually ground us to earth, to the material world, but today they're making us a little bit emotionally disturbed, perturbed, imbalanced. So we need to recognize that we are in control of our emotions, and that these things do not dictate how we respond to stimuli. And so we just simply need to become aware of our own thoughts and feelings towards the day that is going to happen towards us, which seems like it's going to be a little bit everywhere. Okay, now what do we don't have control over? We don't have control over the 10 of Cups. This 2 is also in reverse. So something that we don't have control over, it's like the idea that, again, all of these things emotionally fulfill us at different times. And maybe, okay, so we have things that we care about. And most days we are completely fulfilled. And we are enjoying the emotional give and take that we experience in our daily life. But today, on Thursday, October 15th, Thursday, October 15th, our cups are being spilled over, and so things are not going the way we planned, regardless of how much we try to find our balance. No matter how much we try to get our emotions under control and get our everyday habits and routines under us, it seems like we're one step forward, two steps back. So today just seems like one of those days where you feel it. I mean, you simply feel it. And it's a day of learning. It's a day of seeing things for what they are. Why is today hard? Why is today just like every other day, but for some reason I'm not sitting well, I'm not vibing well, I'm not responding well to the stimuli that is happening around me? Why is it that all of these things usually make me happy, but today they're taking my emotions away from me, so to speak? Like they're draining my cups, and they're simply exhausting me instead of replenishing me and giving me that love and tenderness that I'm looking for with connection. So it's simply saying all of these things that we had and we still have that fulfill us most of the time. Today, they do not fulfill us. They do not satiate our desire, our needs. In fact, we're still wanting more. And that's okay. I mean, it's okay to have these types of days, because the energy we have the most likely outcome, even if we put right thought and right action, is a day of strife. It's a day of pointless, trivial struggles. Literally, guys, this is the card of trivial conflict. Okay? Now, here's what I see with this. So none of that necessarily sounded positive. It didn't sound good, right? But the 5 of Wands it are things that we are passionate about. And 5 is at the stage of destruction. And so we are going to have a day today where we are going to feel strife outside of us and inside of us. We are going to be battling ourselves as well as what we think is outside of us. But what we need to recognize is that we are in a state of transition. What we're actually doing is we are coming to understand, and we're kind of just going through a process of tumbling. You know how like you have a rock tumbler and you take these old rocks and you put a little bit of water and a little bit of I don't know, other rocks so they can tumble, and then they clean each other through constant friction, and then over weeks and weeks of that tumbling they become purer, because all of that outer layer of resin and gunk that was hiding it from its true shiny gem-like self has finally been whittled away. And that is kind of like what today is all of these things are happening to us where we're kind of in a tumbler, and we are hitting all this friction, and we feel like we're out of control, but it's actually the universe is putting us through this process, and we are also putting ourselves through this process because we have willingly created this scenario, and it's for us to determine the worth of something. So at the 5, you say, okay, I have these 5 things that I care about, and you go through and you systematically say, does this logically work for me? Does this actually make me happy, or am I lying to myself? Is it something that I constantly put in effort, but I'm not receiving anything in return? And if that's the case, and you come to some logical decision that, hey, this is not working for me, you let it go, you release it, you deconstruct it to build something new. And then something you may be like, okay, no, this does work for me. Today is not a day where this thing works for me, but 9 out of 10 times this brings me joy and pleasure. And so you're like, wait, I'm willing to fight for this. I'm willing to battle this. For me, it's my relationship with my partner. No relationship is perfect, right? But we have so many good times compared to those days where you're just like, oh man, I wish we could just understand each other. And you go through that strife. But to me, us standing up for our own beliefs, and us standing up for the things that we care about, that we're passionate about, that bring us fire, that bring us life, if we're able to stand up and say, hey, I care about this, and I don't like how you approached this discussion. I don't like how you said these words. I don't like how you assume this thing. And then, even though it's a hard conversation, me and my partner Tony, we can get to the heart of the matter, and we can see it for what it is, and we can cut away falsehoods, and have that truth. And so we've tumbled it through because we were willing to go through that chaotic process and say, I care about this. Oh, well, I care about this, and we need to understand each other. And so there's this friction, but eventually we come to the truth, because everything else has been whittled away, and there's nothing else there except for that gemstone that we both care about and desire. But we first had to get rid of our conditioning and our preconceived notions and our assumptions and all of these things that were just static and chatter and not actually the truth. And so at the 5, even though it may seem hard today, and it may seem like it brings you anxiety and strife and sometimes displeasure, what you are doing is you are going through a systematic process of whittling down the true essence of things. And then you can look at them for what they truly are, and you can decide if you want to continue to keep them in your life, whatever they are. They could be an ideology, it could be a passion, it can be a type of emotional fulfillment, it can be some kind of practical routine or habit. But whatever it is, if you care enough about it, you're willing to fight for it, and you're willing to stand up for it, and you're willing to go through the pain and the strife to say, this actually means something to me. And if you end up losing the battle, losing the argument, and then you see someone else's point of view, then what do? You release that idea because it no longer works for you, because you have seen someone else's opinion, and even though at first you didn't see it, they had so much conviction that their truth was actually true, and they just knew if you could just see what they saw, you would be on board. So they had to battle you in your mind. They had to win you over, but that took a lot of pain. That took a lot of strife. But eventually, they won you over. You got rid of an old idea, a falsehood, of a preconceived notion that no longer works. And now you can move past the 5 and move on to the truth. You can move on to victory, because that's what the 6 of Wands is haha, I have seen this victory, and that's the truth of the matter. And that's after you go through this hard experience, this tumbling, where you can whittle away all the unnecessary noise and get to the heart or the truth of the matter. And that's a beautiful thing to see, as the theme of the day is that you are the king of reason and intellect, and you know what actually works for you and what does not work for you in your specific life. So it's okay if you may not feel complete happiness today. It's a day for you to understand what actually brings you happiness, and if this thing doesn't serve you and is taking away from emotional fulfillment, get rid of it. If you're recognizing that you're doing things that are impractical, or things do not actually benefit your home and your abundance and your garden that you are tilling and expect to bring in a harvest, then you get rid of it and you slash away, and you just... So today is a day of spring cleaning, is really what it is. Today is all about spring cleaning and going through that strife to get to the heart of the matter. So what is left is the essence of truth and what really matters to you, and then you take what little is left and you build with that. Okay, so it's a day of getting rid of a lot of no longer needed stuff, holding on to what is necessary, and then moving forward with that small but important passions, knowledge, wisdom, whatever it is that lights your life up. So there's that. Let's look at the numbers. We have a prince and a queen. All court cards are 1, so 1 and 1 is 2. Then we have the 5. The 2 and the 5 is 7. 7 and then 10 is 17. 1 and 7 is 8. And this is all about power. This is all about wisdom. So you are in control today, regardless of how this sounds. Like we're not in control, but you are. You're not in control of this feeling, but what you are in control is figuring out what is practical and what is going to bring you sustained abundance and pleasure. Okay, the theme of the day is you being in control of your thoughts and mind, and then you going through a time of trials and tribulation, and getting on the other side of that with power, with wisdom, with the essence of truth. What is an actual secure foundation that you want to build on. Okay, and that is where we are today. 8 is all about power and wisdom, and in essence it's the double of 4, right? It's also infinity. It's also the idea that you have power, you have security, you have foundation, and you have twice enough of it, right? That's what the 8 is, and that is your power and responsibility. So you are responsible today for whittling anything and everything in your life that no longer serves you, and holding on to the few things that are left after this day of systematically going through your kingdom and recognizing what serves you and what does not. Okay, so my name is Benjamin Snavely. This is Lost Connection Tarot. I hope to see you guys again. Take care. Bye.